Welcome to Romania. Hello and welcome back. Today we're having the brand new Toyota CHR, which features the 5th generation hybrid generation, which I absolutely love, especially because I know very well the 4th generation, how it feels. I owned previously a Camry from 2022 and a Corolla from 2020. I'm not sure about the Corolla, if it had the 3rd generation, but I think it was the 4th as well. And the Corolla that I had the same engine as this CHR. So the engine is a 1.8 liter inline 4, which develops 98 horsepower. The electric motor that is attached to the hybrid system, it previously had 70 horsepower, total 122. You know, in the hybrid world, 70 plus 98 equals 122. You do not add up the power outputs. You have a combined maximum power output. Previously it was 122 horsepower. Now it has 140. The power of the electric motor has been increased from 70 to 95 horsepower. The engine has the same power and torque outputs, and together now they have 140 horsepower. The 5th generation hybrid system is a lot better and a lot more fun to drive. What I have noticed compared to the last generation is that you can barely notice when the engine fires up. So you are in EV mode and you want to slightly accelerate. When the combustion engine fires up, there's no vibration. You don't feel anything unless you kick down it and it fires up at a higher RPM. But if you gently drive the car, you won't feel anything. It behaves exactly like an EV, but from time to time you hear the combustion engine. If you drive it gently at low speeds and you don't kick the throttle aggressively, you will barely hear the combustion engine. It's very refined. It's very easy to drive. The steering wheel is so easy to maneuver that you can make it act like a flywheel, like it keeps its spinning direction when you just use the finger. The car is obviously turned on. So it's very light, it's very easy to use. The car is very dynamic. It feels like a Yaris. It feels like a very small car, but it isn't quite that small. It doesn't feel like a RAV4. In a RAV4 you have a medium-sized SUV and it feels heavier. It feels bulkier. It's not that dynamic. It's a lot heavier. This one, it feels like a Yaris. It's perfect for city driving. It has a decent ground clearance. And in the city you will not hit any borders or sidewalks, and it's just perfect for city driving, especially because it's extremely fuel efficient. I managed to get until I got the car until now, I drove around 30 kilometers and I managed to get 3.7 liters per 100 kilometers fuel economy. And before coming over here, we have some bends, some curves you have to go uphill. Until I came here, I had around 3.5, 3.4. When we will be going back, the fuel consumption will decrease back to probably 3.4, 3.5. Climate control on, gentle driving. So if you drive this car very gently and you use everything from the hybrid system, you use the regenerative braking, you accelerate gently, you brake gently, you don't accelerate hard, you don't go too fast, city speeds, 50 kilometers per hour, you will get fuel consumptions below 4 liters per 100 kilometers. Obviously, if it will be very hot and you use the climate control, or if it's too cold and the engine will be required to heat up the cabin, fuel consumption will increase. But I don't think you will get more than 6 liters per 100 kilometers within the city at low speeds. If you go on the highway, I expect the fuel consumption to increase to maybe 6 to 7, maybe 8 if you push it to 140, 150 kilometers per hour in areas where you are allowed, like in Poland. Or if you go in Germany on the no speed limit Autobahn, yeah, then you may get 7, 8 liters per 100 kilometers. But overall, in most cases, I think it will be extremely fuel efficient. So I managed to get 3.5, 3.7, 3.8. It's not that small, 17-inch alloy wheels, summer tires from Bridgestone. And again, it's fun to drive, easy to drive, very practical. in the city. I absolutely love it. This is the entry-level variant in Romania, and it costs 33,000 euros, VAT included. It has this funny. Okay, let me show you the fun part. When you open it, no problem. When you close it, open, close, like it's like hitting something, like hitting a wall. Which is annoying. You can hear that. Everyone will hear that. It's obvious. That's something you will have to get used to. I get it. It's for aerodynamics, aesthetics. They moved the lever from here to here from the previous generation. It was a bit odd to have it here. For the family, you get used to it. But if you want to pick up someone in the middle of the intersection and it's raining and he was like, where? You have to know where the lever is. They moved it to a normal position, which I appreciate. They're more aerodynamic now, which is great. It reduces friction, drag, and gets more fuel efficient, but they are annoying. Yeah, this car has only two minuses, in my opinion. The boot is tiny, and it's not just that it's tiny, but it has a unpractical format. You can fit two small cabin pieces of luggage. I think you may fit average sized one, but you cannot fit a big one. You can fit also, I think, 4, 5, maybe 6 sport bags, but you have to be careful how you manage your luggage because it's tiny. It's narrow, it's short, it's not very tall, which is small. In no circumstances you will go with this car for a 3,000 kilometer trip with your family because space is limited. So I think this car is excellent for city driving, urban driving, extra urban driving, or going a few hundred kilometers away from the city, but not for thousands of kilometers away. For those purposes, you need a bigger car, more comfortable car. However, I think it's very comfortable. I like these seats. I like they have a great lateral support. You have a great seating position. You have an excellent view. You have a joystick, which seems like the same from other Lexus vehicles. You have Apple CarPlay. You have a very nice digital display. You have all the features you need. In the rear, you have a cup holder. You have a decent amount of space. I fit just fine. I'm 5'9", and I like the fact that I have more than enough headroom. The headroom is excellent. The interior feels very tall and it gives you the sensation that you have plenty of space. Materials feel a little bit cheap. I like the textiles, I like the steering wheel, I like the dash, but I don't like these materials on the door panel. They feel very cheap. Sorry. And that's one minus with the small boot. The second minus is that because you do not have that much sound insulation and because the format of the body is a little bit taller, you have some ground clearance and it looks like a hatch. I'm talking about aerodynamics. It will be noisy on the highway. So if you want to have a silent car, you need a great aerodynamic body, you need a low ground clearance, and you need insulation, like double glass, premium windshield, insulation everywhere, which you do not have because it's a budget car and at high speeds it will get noisy. I had a Camry and the Camry felt a lot more silent, not because it has so much insulation, but because the body itself and the ground clearance favors it to be more silent. This body does not favor anything related to silence, so at high speeds it will get noisy. So these are the disadvantages. Noise at highway, small boot. Other than that, if you do not care about the fact that it will get noisy at high speeds and you can get used to this tiny little boot, other than that, the car is spot on. Value for money. I absolutely love it. So overall, it's a very nice car. Fuel efficient, practical, easy to use, great for city driving, looks great. It's made in Japan and you have everything you need. Plus, in Europe, you get 10-year warranty. In Romania with Toyota Relax program, or 15 years if you live in Germany. So you get plenty of peace of mind, I would say, buying this car. Hassle-free. So fuel consumption 3.7. We're driving back to our filming spot, the forest, and I absolutely love this car. You can barely feel, or you don't feel it at all in most situations where the combustion engine fires up. So right now I'm in EV. it fired up, I don't feel anything. If you drive the car between eco and power in the middle when you have an indicator, the engine will not be noisy. It's the point until it works together with the electric motor, but it isn't that revved and it's in a kind of silent mode. When you throttle it more aggressively and you go beyond that mark, you go to power, in the power region, it will rev up a lot higher and it will become noisier. But to be honest, it's not that noisy as the previous generation. I would like to demonstrate that, but I think it's a bad idea right now because it's a lot of traffic and somebody may come and I don't want to do something stupid. But I think now I can. So it's not that noisy, in my opinion. It's decent. It's a lot more silent than the previous version. You can also get the 2-liter dynamic force engine, which has 197 horsepower, which also features a 5th generation hybrid system, and I think that is even more refined. It's more agile, it's more powerful, it's a lot faster, and I think it has almost the same fuel economy. Maybe it's 0.3, 0.5 more. 3.7 right now, and I think it will get even lower, but we'll head back and we'll go through an ascent and fuel economy will increase. It's very dynamic, it feels light, doesn't feel heavy. Suspension is just perfect. It's not too stiff, it's not too soft. If it was too soft, dynamics would have been compromised. If it was too stiff, comfort would have been compromised. So I think it's in the sweet spot. It's dynamic enough and comfortable enough to fit most people. This isn't a super sports car, so you won't have super sports requirements or expectations. 3.6, we got back to 3.7, so it's very fuel efficient. For this size and for this performance, 140 horsepower, I think it's just sweet. You have Apple CarPlay, a nice digital dash. I like the center console because it's high and I'm not staying on one side. I'm staying in a comfortable position, straight, and it's an ergonomic position. I'm staying very comfortable. Same on the left, but I have to put my elbow a little bit down. But here on the right, it's just perfect for me. It depends also on the seat height, which you can adjust, but I think it's just nice. I like the fact that you have buttons, physical buttons. I hate touch screens because over time they will need replacements, updates, they can break down. In case of a small or medium crash, they can crack. They're very expensive to replace. They can block, heat up, and so on. I always prefer having physical buttons. Volkswagen said that they understood that their customers want buttons and they're switching back from displays to buttons, from touchscreens to buttons. You can now see the suspension, how it works on a bumpy road. I'm now ascending in fully electric mode. When you ascend, when you're climbing a hill, you will feel a little bit the engine when it fires up, a little bit. But on a straight line, you can barely notice it, both when it fires up and when it switches off. So I really like this hybrid system. I'm very impressed. I've been driving and owning Toyotas for the last 5, almost 6 years. I have almost 80,000 kilometers driven with 3 Toyota hybrids, and none of them was so refined as this CHR with the 5th generation hybrid system. It's spot on. I absolutely love it. If you want to purchase a Toyota and you find this 5th generation hybrid system on any other model than the CHR, just go and try it, because trust me, you will love it. So this was the review of the CHR. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next videos.